lights.
Oh my god. My leg is so sore.
I can carry it. I mean, we'll get there significantly slower. Well, here's what we got, gentlemen. Joseph, Nathaniel Rateliff, and the Night Sweats are cool enough to join us for a Ho-Ho show this year. And so what we've asked our listeners to do is submit questions to us using the hashtag Ho-Ho show. If we use their question, they get something signed by you guys.
Nice.
So a little trade-off, and it's less work for me to do, which I'm always a big fan of. So these are all coming from our listeners here. And we will begin with a question about Red Rocks. What was it like to headline Red Rocks for the very first time?
Yeah, it's when we first moved to Colorado in '98. Joseph and I left Herman and moved there, and you can go up to Red Rocks since it's a park.
Yeah, it's
state
a
park.
national state park.
And you can we'd play guitars on the stage in the middle of the night. Like someday we will play here, and
Yeah.
And when we played there a few times, but to actually headline, and to have it been the anniversary of the record as well, the record release, was just really something else. I remember at the beginning of the show we had come off tour and off of a really long summer tour without much of a break, and we had Preservation Hall Jazz Band. We had played with them before, and we had an idea to, like, the song that we wanted to start with, and we're like, why don't you guys do this? We're like, well, actually what we normally do and what we do in New Orleans is we start with the dirge. You start with the saddest thing and end with the happiest thing. So they went out, and we had actually just lost a friend at the time, pretty close to that. And so I remember walking out on the stage after they were playing this dirge, and I knelt and I put my hands over my face and went like this as sort of like a blessing. And I just remember there was just a moment where I started to get so overwhelmed emotionally that I was started to lose my breath, and I was in my head, I was like, if you start to cry, you right now, you will lose it for the entire show. So I was just like, and then I just got up and I was like, all right, play the show, and just put all of that emotion and that energy and give it back to the people that were giving us the energy. And it was probably one of the coolest things I've got to do in my life, I think.
You guys have played virtually every late night talk show, late night show that there is. Is there any one that is your favorite or one that stands out?
I still want to do SNL.
Yeah, SNL we got shafted on. Thanks, Lauren.
What happened?
I think it's because when we met Lorne Michaels, he was like, "You ought to have us on our show." He's like, "You guys."
We did get to meet Lorne Michaels, but that's beside the point. Colbert was a hero of mine when he had his old show.
Conan.
So that was amazing. Conan we grew up watching.
We grew up watching Dave Letterman too, which we didn't get a chance to do the show while he was still around. But Jimmy Fallon was fantastic both times, and I would say all those guys are really the same people in person as they are on stage, which is nice to know. Colbert ran up, he's like, "Oh man, I love you guys' stuff. So glad you're here," but really
Well, I saw him, I got off the bus, it was parked right outside the studio, and it was 8:30 in the morning, and I walk out, don't know where I am,
standard,
looking horrible. And I see this guy walking down the street, this looks like a total nerd, and he's wearing Dockers, walking up at me. I was like, oh, that's Stephen Colbert. And he comes up and he sees me standing there, and he's like, hey man, great, we're so excited to have you, all this stuff. I was like, what are you guys gonna do tonight? It's I don't know, I think the label's taking us out to dinner after the show. He's like, no, what song are you gonna do tonight? I was like, oh. I was like, well, do you want to come to dinner with us? He's like, I can't, I've got my kids and all that, but it was a pretty funny moment.
Where did the name Night Sweats come from?
Originally, I wanted to call it the
Nightshades.
Nightshades, because I thought it would relate to a lot of hippies that have allergies, but we found out that was actually a band name of some friends of ours. And then I was like, why don't the Night Sweats make sense? I get those all the time. So, and then it just kind of stuck, and
It just flows really well. Like that feels like one that maybe somebody had in the bag for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like if I get a band, boy,
the Night Sweats.
Night Sweats. Yeah. Well, what's funny is we just got hit up by this guy who runs a company of Wicked Sheets, I think it's called.
For people
They're-
that
they're
have
wicked,
night
like
sweats.
it's like the Under Armour you wear, but it's basically sheets like that for people that
You're like,
sweat a lot when they sleep.
I want some of those.
And the guy was like, he finally emailed, he's like, I'm such a huge fan, but I just want to let you guys know, like, I can't, when I'm looking up, I'm trying to research my company online, like, I just keep getting all of your stuff coming up.
It's like, so I've become a fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and I just want to extend the offer that you guys can have sheets if you want. So.
Yeah, it's like the three things that come up are you guys, alcohol withdrawals, and menopause. I have heard somebody say one time too, it's like, why would I want to listen to a band that sings about menopause? Okay, well,
You listen to the lyrics?
yeah.
Do you think that you appreciate the success that you're having now more now than you would have if it would have came when you were younger? You know what I mean? You definitely had to slay away at it for some years. It's not an overnight success situation.
Well, 23 years he and I have been playing music together. I know.
If we would have done it when I was younger,
We joke
I would have
about-
retired already.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we joke about that, and also that we probably would be dead.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It was nice to like kind of, aside from like struggling and everything we had to do to get to where we're at, I think those things are important and really make you appreciate where you're at, instead of taking for granted and being ungrateful.
Yeah, and we were, the previous band we had right before this was more of a folk-based kind of project, Americana kind of stuff, and just kind of hitting our heads against the wall, like not sure what to do anymore.
I just call it treading water.
Treading water.
Treading water for about 7 years. So.
We'd done okay in some places, but it was really like this band was kind of born out of frustration in some ways, and didn't expect to have the response that we've had. So, we were at a point where I was like, should I go to college? Or what should I do? I don't want to paint houses forever.
Sure.
So yeah, it's been amazing, and I think, like Nathaniel said, having perspective of trying so hard for so long, I think it makes it all the sweeter, and you don't take it for granted. That's for sure.